Hi guys, I'm here with Dan Gilham from Dynamic Mounts. Now Dynamic Mounts make the pivotable, I'm going to get this wrong, pivotable cameras, mounts that go at the end of cranes or hanging on helicopters for pretty much every film you've ever seen some action scenes. I've got a list here because otherwise I'd forget them. The camera mounts have been used for iRobot, Matrix 2 and 3, Die Another Day, X-Men 2, Tomb Raider, Jurassic Park 3, Star Wars Episode 2, The Grinch, Perfect Storm, The World's Not Enough, Behind Enemy Lines, Charlie's Angels, Spider-Man, GoldenEye, Thunderbirds, the list goes on and on and on. Dan uses the OrCAD Professional software, which is, if you're a student, you can get that for free now for the term of your university stay. So it's the same tool that Dan's using that you can use, so it's important to know that. These things have to be made incredibly rugged. I imagine they're going through their paces all the time.
Yeah, they're expensive pieces of equipment. Generally speaking, I think our system costs around 30,000 in parts.
Wow, okay.
Before you put any of it together and none of the R&D. But basically, if your 4-year-old son can come in and destroy it, then it's not built well enough for the field. So come and play with it, see if you can break it.
Do they ever come back broken?
Only when they put them underwater for about half an hour and then wonder why they don't work anymore. Okay. Or leave them in the rain for 2 or 3 weeks. And otherwise, very rarely, fortunately.
Now you use a lot of software, so you're using Autodesk Inventor, you're using the OrCAD Professional. Do you ever get a director saying, hey, but there's nothing else is going to be able to do this, we need to fly the camera through this strange place and then it's going to tumble off a building and do all that sort of stuff, and then you have to innovate and design on the fly? We
do get various strange requests where someone will say, well, we want to spin a camera down a drain pipe, and there's nothing available to do that. But yes, we've designed a system where we were asked to make a stabilised camera system for the front of a motorbike.
Wow.
And they were going to do a motorbike chase for the Bourne Ultimatum.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And that was originally just one axis of stabilisation, so as the motorbike sort of spun, the camera just stayed level. But then all of a sudden they realised that as the motorbike weaves through the traffic, you know, the camera needs to stay like a compass point as well. So
otherwise it's out of shot, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden it went from a simple stabilised ring, just to keep the horizon level, to a complete 3-axis remote controlled camera system. So yes, the nice simple things don't always end up being the nice simple things.
No, I can imagine, yeah. And as a film goes on, do you get calls from the film crew or the director saying, hey, plans have changed, we now need to do this, can we?
They can do. They have a habit sometimes of saying, oh, I've got a really good idea for a shot. How would we get this shot? And if you explain it to them and say, well, actually, it's quite easy, we can just do it like that. There have been a lot of occasions where they say, yeah, that's far too easy, I'm not going to do that. So,
because they're always trying to push the boundaries.
They're always trying to push the boundaries, and they always want to make it complicated enough so that they can then go off and say, yeah, you'll never know how we got this shot, and you'll never believe what went into it. If it's simple, no. Unless they keep quiet about it, how simple it really was. So some of them are very simple and some of them are horrendously complicated, so they can spend days and days and days sorting out how, you know, one little second of a shot's going to look. So. And
with regards to the control, you're saying there's a processor on either side, so there's the touch screen control panel.
Yeah.
And on the actual, the business end where the camera is mounted, there's another processor controlling as well?
Yes, so basically the processor on the touchscreen takes all the touchscreen and position information from, they're generally controlled by wheels, these camera systems, because it's a very precise way of getting, you know, you can move the wheel 10 times one way and move the wheel back 10 times again, and you know it's exactly back in the original position. So the processor in the wheels desk takes all the position information and then throws it up to the head.
And then mimics that like
and
a robot
the head
head.
does pretty much real-time positioning.
Wow.
Yeah, so all down the wire these days.
And do you find that that's a mixture of hardware and software, or is it moving more to a software programming?
It's moving much more towards software now. Yeah. Originally it was quite hard because processors were quite pedestrian. Yeah. And nowadays you're getting processors, you know, even the cheapest ones are running at 1 million miles an hour. So it's marvellous, but yeah, it's quite hard keeping up with the technology these days. And I think that's the hardest bit of it, is knowing that you've got now 50,000 different processors and you're just scratching your head reading 500 pages of a data sheet going, is this the one for me? So once you've got a model, stick with it.
And your favourite film you've worked on so far? It must be hard to choose.
Oh, yes. It's very hard to choose. Yeah, they're all very different. And some of them are really hard work and not much fun. And some of them are great fun. you know, and sometimes you can spend days and days sitting around doing nothing, which is, in my book, very dull.
Yeah.
So you always, if you aren't actually working on the film at that moment in time, you then sit down and do some design work instead.
Yeah. And the plans for the future, if you can talk about them, or is that based on what the directors are going to want?
No, there are various systems in the pipeline. We are working with an aerospace company doing some power readout systems for helicopters, which is quite entertaining. It's nice to work with a different industry.
Okay. Yeah.
Every now and again. We're designing some special joysticks up, which are just about to come out. I can't really tell you about those.
No, that's
fine.
The more secretive, the better.
New bits in them, and then we're bringing out a new camera system or two, hopefully in the next few months.
Wow.
So it doesn't stop really.
And they're not slowing down, like we said. They're always trying to push the envelope. And
yeah. Well, I suppose the trouble is that we've gone from big film cameras, which can be 4 feet long,
yeah.
you know, and weigh 50 kilos. 2-man lift to get them up into the camera system, and now they're getting smaller and smaller, and then they went bigger for the 3D television stuff, where Sky would have 2 cameras filming any one scene, and so all of a sudden it went back up to the 50 kilos but much wider, and now they're coming back down again to the small high-def cameras that they're using now, and most of the 3D is done in post-production.
Yeah, thanks ever so much for coming down and spending some time and helping us put a video together. Go and check out Dan's site. We'll put the link down there for you. Have a look at some of the films. Really interesting stuff. And thanks for tuning Cadence.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Excellent.